Poople's cat. One of the things about the property that's good and bad is that it's on bedrock. So that's actually a rock, and we're going to expose a lot of that on the top of it to do various projects. But the soil is at least mostly, and it varies, about 6 to 8 inches deep. And it's good soil, and what happens is the water goes down there and freezes, and soil is actually pushed up from it, like little eruptions, and you can see various points around the garden where that's happened, and it's been cleared away. So that's kind of an interesting thing. You think you've got huge moles, and you haven't. You've got water and rock. So you can see various places where actually the bedrock is closer to the surface than other areas. But overall, we could, if we had to, convert this whole green space into gardening, which would be good. And as you can see, we've got a lot of work ahead of us getting these gardens back to shape again. There's some rhubarb. We had some rhubarb last night. It was delicious. And this is the organic garden, main garden, and that we're not going to touch this year. We're going to do it next year because it's too much work to actually move into a place and do everything at once. And once that's up and running, and we've moved here in probably 2 or 3 years' time, we'll then get the second organic garden going over there, and that should be well able to feed us most of the time. And like I said, a lot of this here is actually 5 to 6 inches deep soil, and it's good quality soil, and it's never been used. So one of the things we should be able to do if we had to is literally put in huge quantities of potatoes or carrots or whatever, and get good and pumpkins and stuff, and get it that way. But as you can see, there is bedrock. Now the tenting, last night, in full and absolute honesty, I did not sleep in the tent. It absolutely poured down. It was quite late, midnight, when we went to bed. And just before we went to bed, probably a coyote was hunting right by the house, and it freaked me out a little bit. I'm not ashamed to say that. So I did not sleep in the tent, but I will sleep in the tent tonight just to have the experience of it. But I won't sleep with Mr. Bear. Bear and Becky are having an okay transition this time, but they are very firmly house bodies, so I'm not going to do that. Now, the other thing we need to urgently sort out, and I'm sure people are going to point this out when they see the pictures of the tent, is widowmakers. There's a few around the property, and of course this is the great time to find them. There's some good mushrooms growing there. But we have substantial widowmakers, so they need to come out. There's one over there by the pond that needs to come out. And there's also one behind the barn, well, a couple behind the barn that need to come out. So yeah, paying attention to widowmakers I think is a really important thing. And the tent is a little too close, I admit that. Anyway, that's it from the first night not sleeping in the tent. Have a great day. Bye.
Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes, little boxes, little boxes all the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky, and they all look just the same.